everybody, it's your girl Nisi, and we're getting back into some Reddit stories. We've got 3 Reddit stories and then a question after from Ask Reddit for women to women. I hope you enjoy this episode, so let's get into it. Okay guys, we have 3 Reddit stories and 1 question from Reddit that we're going to answer, and we're going to see some of the answers there as well, because I can't be given all the advice. But anyways, we're going to do 1 best of Reddit updates, and the first one is going to be, I think I made a mistake getting married. Well, let's get right into it. I'm new, so please bear with me. A little backstory. I'm a 29-year-old female, and my husband is 41. We met in my home country. I'm from the Caribbean originally. My husband came there on a guy's trip. At the time I was a bartender, we exchanged numbers. We talked for 3 months long distance before I went to visit him in the U.S. At the time, everything felt great. I really liked him, enjoyed spending time with him. He really seemed like a great man. My first visit was for 2 months, and then I went back to my country and back to my job. He called me every day telling me he loved me and missed me so much. 1 month later, I visited him again, and I spent a month with him. In that time, he asked me to marry him, and of course I said yes. I was in love. First things first, girlie. You've talked for a total of 6 months, and you're engaged to be married. I can't hate on it. I've had a shorter courtship than most people. I'm in a happy and loving marriage, so I can't hate on it. But I see a red flag, and it seems like he love bombed you, and unfortunately you fell for it. But that's just reading your first paragraph. It sounds like he love bombed you, gave you love and attention, love and attention, love and attention, love and attention, and it felt so good that you didn't see some of the flags that were missing, and the majority of your relationship was long distance, which means you didn't get to see him on a daily. Yes, you spent 2 months here and 3 months there, but it's like all he had to do was be on his best behavior for 3 months, and then you're going home, so you can chill and relax and be as he was, and then you're coming back, and you're there for a month, and he loves bombs and loves bombs and loves bombs and loves bombs, so you're not there because all he has to do is, oh hey babe, I love you, I love seeing you, I love being with you, da 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 da. Let me text this. Oh baby, hi, how are you? Da da da. He's all up in your face, and he's on your phone, and he's blowing it up, and he's blowing it up, and he's blowing it up. But then, when you get there, and you have to live every day after day after day, and there's no more you going back to your job. There's no more of you going back home. He's like, okay, you got comfortable, we got married, so here I am. But let's get into it. There's a little bit more to this. We got married in my country and honeymooned in Jamaica. Our honeymoon is where I really saw how jealous and insecure he was. The first instance was where we were at the pool at a hotel. A guy told him that he had a beautiful wife. Later in our room, my husband said that he thought it was inappropriate what the guy had said to me. I said it was a compliment. That night, while we were intimate, he said, "You're mine, and that's my punani. Tell me that you're mine." He never said any of the things before when we had sex. The next day we went on an excursion, and it was bamboo rafting. And at the end of our tour we had a massage. Or in our tour we had a massage. Excuse me. It was the guys doing the tours, and one of them did my massage. My husband was mad, so he stopped the guy and told him that he was touching me inappropriately, and even reported him to his boss. Sadly, I think he might have lost his job. Being from the Caribbean, I know how it goes. Usually the guest is always right. Any claims made against you, whether it's true or false, you most likely get fired. I was so upset, and this was our first time we actually argued. I kept thinking to myself, I think you made a huge mistake. We talked about it, he apologized, and he admitted to be insecure sometimes. Well, it never got better. We are currently together in the U.S., and I recently received my work permit. We've been arguing for the past 2 weeks because he doesn't want me to work His reasoning is that I don't need to. He's completely disregarding what I want. Yesterday I was on the phone with one of my close friends from back home, a guy. He's now accusing me of having an affair with the guy and demanding that I block him. I told him I'm not blocking my friend. This morning I found out he called my mom and told her that I've been disrespecting him. What's making me even more angry and helpless is even when I told my mom what happened, she just said to me, just block your friend to keep the peace. I've been so depressed because I feel like I've made a mistake, but then there's another side of me that still loves him and think we can work it out. So, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Your man said he's insecure, so he's insecure. Your man is now getting possessive, and I'm just letting you know, you should always have a job, some sort of income, some type of backup, just in case. What happens when you get divorced? Then you're what? In the U.S. with no money, no job? That don't make no sense. So good on you for keeping your job. Your friend is a friend, and if you're honestly keeping a friend, I would keep that friend just in case, because your man don't seem safe. If you're telling yourself you think you made a huge mistake, then you made a huge mistake. But your man is mad possessive, and it's not a cute possessive. It's more of a red flag possessive. But from what you told me, what I'm reading, you need to skip back to whatever Caribbean island you came from and leave your man behind. There's no reason a man should be that possessive of you, be not wanting, who doesn't accept that, oh, your wife is bomb? That should pump him up. That should make his ego feel good, because damn, I bagged a real one. I bagged a pretty one. I bagged Miss Beauty 10,000. Why is that a thought process? What the thought process was, your man is, oh, he trying to bang my wife. That shouldn't be your first immediate process. But I digress. Age difference, it's a little wacky for me. You're 29, he's 41. He's trying to find someone a little bit more gullible. And again, it seemed like he love bombed you. And then when he felt secure, meaning y'all got married, he said, I'm going to show you who I am. He showed that he's possessive. He shows that he's insecure. He shows that he doesn't trust you. How can you build a marriage off of that? How can you continue to have a marriage off of that? But I digress. So let's hit the comments. It's not you, it me. Mio kit you. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Get away from this man. Cotton Bun says, get out now. It does not get better. From personal experience, just go. Sadie Lady 11 said, you made a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes, but sister, you're in danger. This man does not speak to you like you're a person, but his possession. Quietly get your stuff together and go. Do not call your mom again. She's useless in this situation. I'm sorry for that. Get back home any way you can. Divorce and learn from your mistake. Then live your best life with no one telling you how you're supposed to be. Please do not let him know you plan to go. He will not let you go easily. So we're all on the same page. It's red flags all over the field. Refs on the field just throwing red flags like it's candy. You getting paid to throw red flags. No one's happy. But you updated a month later. My husband and I found a marriage counselor after we had a conversation about his insecurities. Things were going until earlier today. I went for a walk with our neighbor. On my way back to our house, I caught up with my neighbor and we ended up walking back together. When I walked into the house, my husband asked why was our neighbor with me. I told him I met him on the way back to the home. Out of nowhere, he started accusing me of having an affair and asked me how long it's been going on. I ignored it and walked off because I felt highly disrespected. The craziest part of the story is he went to our neighbor's house and told him not to speak to me anymore. Oh my goodness. I feel so embarrassed and disrespected. I truly thought counseling was working, but it clearly isn't. So when you leave it, because it seemed like you need to leave, and it seemed like you trying to stay, but I know you trying to make everything work out, but me and everybody else think it's the red flag here, go. Why you staying, babe? Why you staying? But again, edit. Someone in the comments asked, what's his story? In one of our counseling sessions, he said his ex was talking to other men and sending them nudes, etc. I didn't know about this until that day. He said our counselor made it made him feel like he wasn't enough. After the conversation, our counselor made sure to give him extra. After that, our conversation with our counselor, I made sure to give him extra reassurance. He even told me that he trusts me. Well, I guess that was short-lived. Last night, after crazy accusations from him, I went to sleep in our guest bedroom. He apologized, admitting he overreacted, and made a promise that he would stop accusing me of cheating. Heard all of this before, and I'm just so over it. I had some time to myself last night and thought, do I really want to stay in a marriage like this? It's so exhausting being constantly accused and feels like I have to prove myself every time I show time to show that I'm not cheating. Your man don't trust you, and your relationship is not there. You got love bombed. Those are the red flags. Everybody in the mom is telling you to leave. The only person telling you to stay is you and your mother. Your best friend's probably telling you to leave too. You got love bombed and you got happy and cuddly in a relationship that was long distance. You spent a couple of months of quality time, but not a longevity situation. You didn't see how he lived a day to day. You didn't see when his habits got bad or stuff like that. He got you and said, okay, now you're mine. He's trying to cut off your financial freedom by telling you not to work. He's trying to cut off your emotional support, your people support by cutting off your best friend. He's trying to make you feel like you're always in the wrong. He's ratting you out to your mother for no reason. This man, you may think he loves you, and he may act like he loves you, but this man does not love you like you should be loved. And I am not one for saying, give up on a marriage, get divorced, anything like that. I'm not that person. My spirituality does not allow me to be that person. But what my spirituality does understand is danger, and you're in danger, babe. And your relationship is only going to get worse. It's always going to get more abusive. I've been there. I've done that. Long distance relationships is not for everyone. You had a long distance relationship, and this one was not for you. You can always try again. You're young. You're beautiful. You're pretty. Do not give up. I got married at 30. I'm 31 now. You can do it. It's not worth giving up your freedom for, baby girl. Get out. Anyways, onto the comments. Stone the Rock said, oh, would you look at the time? It's 1:30. Get a divorce o'clock. Maya P 415 says, better late than never. Any decision 470 said, they say the suspicious accuse you of what they do. Extreme jealousy is like rot, eats away at into anything. Your prior post had a ton of advice. You need to get divorced. He doesn't want you to have friends. He's hyper jealous and possessive. He doesn't want you to work. You know the future is a road paved to the flaming pits of not up here. And the red flags are flying high. Be smart. Don't be a statistic. I hate when they say don't be a statistic, because you become one of a number. You become one of people who stay and get beaten and all this other stuff. I understand the phrasing. I understand don't be statistic. But don't be that person that tells someone else in the future, this is what happened to me, I don't want it to happen to you. When you have people behind you telling you, hundreds of people telling you, this is what happened to us, don't do it. So don't do it. It just makes sense. Do not do it. Do not do it. Because it's not worth it. It is not worth your safety. It's not worth your mental. It's not worth your health. You are a young, beautiful woman and you've got it all. Do not let this man take it from you. Keep your bread up. Find an exit strategy. Follow exit strategy. Stay safe. Stay taken care of. And do not let anyone ruin your peace. This man is ruining your peace. You thought you were in love. You already know you're out of love. You want to know why I know you're out of love? Because you wouldn't have typed these two posts if you were still deeply in love the way you thought. You may love him, but you are not in love with him, because you would not be questioning this. But anyways, I hope you're safe. I hope you got out of this. I know at the end of the day things are going to happen, but do you. Stay safe, okay? Okay. On to the next. Would I be a butthole if I don't give my baby my mom's name? No. You are to name your, before I read this, before you get judged, You are not to name your baby anything but what you want to name your baby. If you want to name your baby Medusa, name your baby Medusa. If you want to name your baby Shaka Khan, name your baby Shaka Khan. Your baby's name is your baby's name. You get to name your baby. Your mama don't name your baby. Your sister don't name your baby. Your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, whatever. The only two people that should be naming the baby is you and your husband. If you two come and decide, hey, my baby girl is going to be Sarah and my mom's name is Jane, Sarah she is. Do not let your mama name your baby. You name your baby. That's it. You're not the asshole. I don't even gotta read it. You're not the asshole. But I'm gonna read it. So my plan since I was in high school was to have my daughter's middle name be my mom's first name. Well, I'm pregnant, and I made the mistake of sharing this with my family. I realize now that this was supposed to be a surprise. I'm an idiot, but oh well. I'm having a girl, so it makes sense for me to stick to my plan, but my mom has been very unsupportive during my pregnancy. I try to ask her questions, and she doesn't know anything despite having 5 children. I try to vent my emotional woes with her. She doesn't want to hear all the emotional stuff right now. I'm trying to vent her about my boyfriend's mom being overbearing, and I need to quit being so negative. I share a baby bump update. She doesn't respond. I never expect her to treat me this way during such a vulnerable time in my life. They say you never forget how people treat you when you're pregnant, and I will never forget the lack of care my own mother has given me. Despite her complaining about not getting super involved with my brother's 2 sons because she's the grandma on the dad's side, but when she starts getting to be a grandma on the mom's side, she can't be bothered. I know my mom will give my daughter some great gifts and she'll come to visit her a lot, I'm pretty sure. But I don't really want to name my kid after her anymore. Would I be the asshole if I don't? I just feel like it's super awkward and she'll hold a grudge if I don't. She's the queen of grudges. She's still holding poop against me that I did when I was 13. So, still not the whole. And you're right. You don't have to name your baby after your mother. Yes, you told everybody you would. But at the end of the day, when she asks, why didn't you name the baby's middle name after me? Be like, you spent my entire pregnancy ignoring me, just ignoring me and not helping me when I needed you. You have the right to tell grandma that, yes, I will love you forever. You will always be my mother. You will always be my baby's grandmother. Yes, you have responsibility and stuff. But when I need you, I need you. You're my mama. And at the end of the day, you're the only one who understands what I'm going through. You're the only one that I know that is my flesh and blood, that I know would care for me in every instance, in every situation. But when I needed you, when I'm pregnant, you ignored me. You didn't have time for me. My emotions weren't thought of. And I'm not a gestation. I'm not a birthing pod. I'm a person. And at the end of the day, you have the right to feel how you feel. Don't name your baby after your mom. If she upset you this much for you to think about this like this, you wouldn't be the butthole. But what I would do is have that conversation with your spouse and just let them know, hey, by the way, this is how I'm feeling. This was what was going on. At the end of the day, I would prefer not to name my baby after my mother anymore. And if your partner agrees, that's it. That's all that matters. The 2 people who, again, need to name the baby, you and your partner. At the end of the day, that's all there is. Wife, hubby. That's all you need. Mom, dad, whatever. Whoever is raising the baby. Those 2 people are the only ones who need to name the baby. Anybody else do not matter. And the person carrying the baby, significant others, is the one who gets first choice. If you don't like it, let her figure out another one. But she gets primary names. Because she carrying it. You're not doing that much work. She doing all of it. Okay, down to the edit. I just want to say I'm not sure where I'm coming, as I want the world to revolve around me and to be babied, lol. Me and my mom talk about just about everything. She calls me to complain about when her neighbors use her driveway to turn around. So yeah, the way she just stopped communicating with me in general since he became pregnant, let alone not saying a word to me about being pregnant, is out of character and hurtful. This is a woman who forced me to go to the hospital because I had a headache for 3 days, lol. If you had an easy pregnancy and didn't care for anyone to check on you, cool for you. But I just don't see how this has anything to do with my question, nor do I see how it makes me a bad person. Thanks for those who are actually answering the question. As for those of you who have decided to make this post your moral superiority complex of the week, Post. I'm done responding. LOL. You're so weird on this app. I don't know why I even ask questions here. I mean, you're right. Let's go down the comments. Baby arrives. Name is announced. Middle name is not your mom's name. Conversation that follows. Why doesn't she have my name? I thought you were going to honor me. Well, after 40-ish weeks of you pushing me away and failing to act like a parent to me, I figured you didn't care. But that's not fair. Oh well, not the asshole. Yeah, exactly. That's the conversation that's gonna exactly happen. Okay, not the butthole. You can name your child anything you want. It's you and your baby father's choice. Be sure it's something that won't bother your child in later years. My mom originally wanted to name me after her mother and call me by a nickname. I'm so glad she did. Hated the name and I really despised her mother. If she's still holding grudges, that control tendency might be something you regret if you give in. Yeah, don't give in to that. That makes sense. I didn't think of it that excellently. If you give your mom what she wants without any support or any respect, then you've lost that battle. She's always going to walk over you at that point because she knows she can. And that's what happens with entitled people. Once they find out that, oh, I can do this, then they take that a mile. That whole phrase, I give you an inch and you take 5 miles, that's that woman. When you give them an inch, they will take that 5 miles. Just protect yourself. Protect your baby. Do you. This one was, am I the asshole? Would I be the asshole if I didn't give my baby my mom's name? By Disappointed Sins 15. Disappointed, you got this. Don't let your mom fret over it. At the end of the day, you're gonna do as you're gonna do. Ooh, my apologies. You're gonna do what you need to do, and your baby doesn't have to be honored by someone who doesn't honor you. So yeah, there's that. Okay, best of Reddit updates. Am I the butthole for not wanting to date a police officer? OP is aggregating pop. 9723. Okay, am I an asshole for not wanting to date a police officer? I don't know whether this post is on legal advice because I'm not sure it's gotten that far level yet. 2 months ago, there was a domestic dispute in my building. I, 25-year-old female, came home when I noticed 2 police officers waiting for the elevator. I would have waited for the next one, but we only have 2 elevators and one was broken. I rode up with the officers, and I was surprised to see that we all got off on the same floor. Mine. Apparently the disturbance was the unit next to mine. I've only lived there for 3 months, so I didn't know any of my neighbors. I didn't think too much of it at the time, and I went into my unit and closed the door. About 30 minutes later, I hear a knock at my door. It was one of the police officers that I had ridden up on the elevator. He asked me to open the door. I was hesitant, so I asked if we could just talk through the closed door. He showed me his badge through the people to, I guess, make me feel safer, but it didn't help. He told me that he needed to see my identification because I might be a witness to what occurred in the unit next to mine. I told him that I saw nothing, so I wouldn't be a big help. He told me that either I talk to him now or I'd have to go to the police station in the morning, which could take all day. I'm a student. I couldn't take off a whole day to talk about an incident, so I agreed. He didn't come inside my place. We chatted at my door. He asked for my ID, so I gave him my driver's license. He wrote down my information, my number as well, and told me that he'd be in contact. 2 days later, I spotted him at my building after coming home from class. He asked me how my neighbors were doing, and I said fine. Tried to get into my building. He stopped me and said that he thought he and I had chemistry the night we met. He asked me out. I told him that I had a boyfriend, which was a lie, and I sidestepped him into my building. Good for you standing your ground. Good for you getting out of a situation you felt uncomfortable with. And I hope that it doesn't get worse. But of course it always does. But my biggest red flag right now is the fact that he would not let you step into your building. And the fact that when you told him you didn't have any information, he still forced you to have a conversation with him. Because you have the right to say, I didn't see anything. And if you haven't seen anything, he just says, I need to see your ID. It doesn't require a whole conversation to say, I didn't see anything. Okay, the next day I get a call from my grandmother. She tells me that a nice police officer came by and was asking very personal questions about me. The person she describes sounds exactly like the police officer who asked me out. My license has my grandmother's address. I was living with her before. I haven't had time to go and change it. At this point, I was freaking out. I told her not to talk to him, not to answer the door if he comes back. 2 weeks ago, I'm walking home from class. I jaywalk to get into my building. I hear someone call my name, so I turn around. It's the police officer again. He tells me that he could fine me for jaywalking because it's illegal. Yeah, it's a fine. You're not going to jail or anything. Jaywalk again. Just don't do it in front of him, obviously. But he won't if I go out with him. I told him that I'm seeing someone, but he tells me that my grandmother just told him that I was single. Told him that it's a new relationship, so she wouldn't know. He said he would hold off on the jaywalking ticket, but not for long. It's been a few weeks since that confrontation, but I see him pretty often. I live in a safe neighborhood, but he seems to always be parked somewhere near my school or apartment building. This is harassment. You need to call IA, Bureau of Internal Affairs. They are a place where cops have supervisors. Like, you always have your supervisor, but these are the cops who check out cops. These are the people that do, make sure your cop isn't dirty, following codes, all of this. These are the people that talk to cops when they're about to go in a slightly not kosher situation, like they've messed up or whatever. These are the people that you need to be talking to. Anyways, I'm on a student visa. I'm Canadian. I can't afford to have a ticket on my record, but I'm also very worried that the police officer will escalate the situation if I don't go out with him. I told one of my closest friends about this, and she told me that what this police officer was doing was romantic, and I'm a butthole for not going out with him. Am I a butthole? And am I a butthole for not going out with him? No, you're not a butthole. You have the right to say no to anyone you want to date. Firefighter, president, prime minister, dictator. You don't like him, you don't gotta say yes. But it seems like your cop is stalking you, and you need to lawyer up, find protection, find someone to walk home with, the whole 9 yards. He's giving a bunch of sexual harassment, stalkerish vibes. This is not cool, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's done this before, because no one's this bold as a police officer to keep pressing. And yes, you could get a fine for jaywalking, but sometimes that fine is not that big unless he exaggerates. You're not, jaywalking is because you're not being safe when it comes to traffic. Most police officers, unless they see it and you're doing something dangerous by jaywalking, like walking across the street when you see a car coming 100 miles per hour in your direction, whatever, aren't really going to be huge sticklers. I know some cops who will ticket everyone for every little thing. I've seen cops who haven't ticketed anyone for something as simple as they just walking down the street. But there's so many different positions in this, but you need to protect yourself. There are so many red flags on this field. He shouldn't be showing up to you over and over and over again. You should not see him everywhere you turn. That's not appropriate. He should not have had a conversation with your grandmother. This is not romantic. This is very creepy. Okay. First comment was danger close, maybe. Ward him to your community's Bureau of Internal Affairs. Get a lawyer to file an emergency restraining order. This is not normal behavior. Try not to go anywhere alone, especially at night. Be careful. Cream and Crumbs said, this friend is a moron. Nothing about this is romantic. It's scary. Possible liar. Seriously, what's romantic about a cop abusing his power, outright lying for legal responsibilities in regards to the call next door, and then practically using that information to stalk her? Your judgment was not the asshole, which we assumed, but your cop friend is scary as crap. Update 4 days later. I just want to start off by thanking those who responded to my last post. Most of you were very sympathetic and stressed that I needed to do something because this wasn't going to resolve on its own. Honestly, I didn't realize that it had gotten so bad until I read my own post, lol. I got a few horrible DMs after I posted a few days ago, so I hid out for a while. I don't want to be too specific on my last post, but I realized that my vagueness had made it harder for people to give me advice. I'm located on the East Coast in a small college town of 50,000 people or less. There are less than 60 police officers. From the social media accounts, I was able to find out 2 other police officers, brothers and cousin, that shared the last name of the officer that was been begging me to date him. I first interacted with the police officer late March, early April, so this has been going on for a couple months now. Some of you were concerned about my grandmother after the officer paid her a visit. She moved out in May, which is why I originally moved out. She lives in the senior's home hours away from me now, so she's fine. Okay, so you moved out because she was moving in May. Cool. So, she's semi-safe. You're going to make it. The campus is pretty much empty now that spring semester has finished in May. My friends are gone. The only reason I stayed for the summer was because I secured a student research position. I'm kicking myself now for staying, but there was no way I would pass up on this opportunity. The morning after I wrote the post, the officer came knocking on my door. He kept singing my name while he knocked. Really creepy. I didn't answer. He came back a few hours later. I was ashamed to say that I hid in my apartment until Monday morning. I was planning on calling a domestic abuse line in my area, which was a great suggestion some of you gave, but I think his visit frazzled me. He had never gone as far as to knock on my door again after that first night we met. Okay. Walked to campus yesterday morning and was really alert and scared. I ran into one of my professors from last semester. She could see that I wasn't okay, so she took me to her office. It all came tumbling out after that. I told her everything about what had been happening. She was super sympathetic. I told her the officer's name. She didn't look surprised at all. According to her, he has done this before to multiple women. Some women have filed complaints, but nothing has happened because his dad is well connected. The officer has a pattern of escalating once complaints are filed. I told my professor that I was planning on seeking out victim advocacy group, but she cautioned me against it. Apparently, when spring semester ends, a lot of people take the summer off. The offices are staffed with locals. The sister of the officer has been harassing me. The sister of the officer, that had been harassing me, currently works at the one that I was thinking of calling. She stayed with me while I called another advocacy group a bit further out of town. She also connected me to a lawyer just in case, also out of town. This professor got her son, 23 male, to walk with me to and from campus. I felt guilty about that, but he said he's glad to help. My professor told me that the officer targets women who live alone and seem to be alone all the time, which is definitely me this summer. This will be my last update, but I just wanted to thank everyone for giving me the strength to tell someone. So I'm so glad you got to tell someone. I'm glad that you now have someone walking with you, because that gives your earlier lie about you having a boyfriend a little bit more credibility, and I'm glad that, this officer will have some visual proof that he should back off. If he does, great. If he doesn't, I hope you the best. Please protect yourself. Do not leave yourself vulnerable. Again, I'm glad you have a walking buddy. I'm glad you told someone outside the police station, but I'm also glad you reported it to the advocacy group, because they will help you out. I'm glad that you have a lawyer on file where you know your name, but get to know that lawyer. Say hi, get to update, so that way when it comes time and you need that person, they're not a stranger to you and you're not a stranger to them. But I hope that you are safe. I hope everything is working out for you. So good luck in the future. Let's read some comments and then we will head on to our question and answer session. Odd outcome 450. Get a Ring camera on for your door. They have kits so you can attach it without screws. Send the video to the local news if he keeps it up. Solid advice. Just be careful that you have a plan in place in case he escalates OP. But yeah, video evidence might be the only way to get him to stop since he's so connected. I don't like this update. I'm genuinely scared for OP. We are all genuinely scared because there's no way. This is not okay. Things are not where they should be. But please stay safe. Please, have everything that you can do. I wish you the best. I wish everything's okay for you. So yeah. On to our question and answer, and then that'll be it for us tonight. And our question is, anyone who only did courthouse wedding, any regrets? If it's spending the day with kids, so I apologize. Okay, 6 months ago, Little Orange Monkeys replied, "We did a true backyard wedding. in that we got married by a friend in our backyard with about 20 total people. The only thing I regret is not getting better pictures. At the time, it didn't seem that important, but now that I don't really have any nice pictures of our wedding. So as long as you have photography figured out based on what you want, I highly recommend a courthouse approach. Exactly this. We did a very simple wedding with 5 guests. I hired a photographer. Yeah, so I understand courthouse weddings. I love the thought process behind them. Definitely a 10 out of 10. I had a courthouse wedding. I loved it. I had people help me with the camera by having other people take photos and stuff like that. Like, I have wedding photos galore. Like, does it clear up? That's me and my sister at the courthouse. That was after I got married. I have a picture like with me and my husband. We're dancing. Yes, these are blurry, and I'm okay with that because, again, you don't need to know every second. But like, we got cute pictures. I have a whole host of them. They're on my phone. I have some printed out. I have some on my table, some in a wedding album. Pictures are 100% important. Just, the best pictures are to get like your friends and family to take pictures while they're at the party. Those are great. Especially if you don't want a wedding photographer. But, don't forget to also like get out an, old school camera, have someone just stand there and have someone take pictures for a few minutes. Have, a good friend or whatever who doesn't mind taking the pictures, and stand still to take those pictures. But also have like those movement pictures, those pictures that show that you're getting to know your guests. Pictures are so important because how else are you going to remember the most magical day of your life? But I 100% say the pictures are the reasons. I did a courthouse. It was fine. We didn't opt for the ceremony or anything, just filled out the paper. It was a money thing. We only knew each other for a few months, LOL. I always say that we will have a wedding later, but to this day, still not enough people I like enough to throw a party. Married 14 years this June, happy as ever, absolutely have no regrets. And see, like, you can do super, super simple. Sign a courthouse and have a ball for the rest of your life. So yeah. Another woman said, we got married by an officiant on a mountain after hiking up a trail. We didn't tell anyone. My family's also dysfunctional. Wanted the day to be about us, not drama or catering to other people in our families. Also introverts. We had a photographer capture the moments. No regrets. I wouldn't have been stressed the whole big event. So grateful we did it our way. Congrats on the engagement and upcoming wedding. The one thing I did like about my wedding was we got 2 locations. We got the courthouse where we took the original video of me and my husband saying our vows, and we had a couple family members and friends there. And then we went back to our reception party, and that wasn't too big. I think we had max 35 people, and it wasn't that big of a deal. We had people from both sides. We got to toast. We got to do the cake. We had our first dance. Everything was exactly how we wanted it. We got decorations done, and we didn't spend millions of dollars. We didn't spend thousands. I think we made it to like $750, which meant our wedding certificate, the food and the decorations, the wedding dress and the tux, everything costs a total of $750. The only thing that wasn't was our wedding set, but my husband spent on that separately, and I love him for it. He gave me a beautiful wedding set, not once, not twice, but 3 times. I'm wearing my green set, which is one of my favorites. They're all my favorite. I have a blue set and a purple set, but my man is great, and like, it doesn't have to be over the top. You don't have to do an amazing big thing. You just gotta have fun with it. Let's see. I'm not that big of a wedding person. I have a dysfunctional family as well. We didn't do a courthouse exactly, but we did have some of our non-crazy immediate family over for dinner for a send-off, and then went to the Hawaii alone. I consider it an elopement, as we didn't tell any extended family friends until we got home from Hawaii. We did a photo shoot on the beach. I'm extremely happy about it. Most friends Most of my friends got married told me after planning their traditional wedding that they wish they did what I did. I recommend doing something special the weekend. Example, go to a hotel a few hours away, a new place, to make a unique memory around it so that it feels more special. When I got guilt tripped from people for not telling them, it was easier not feeling guilty because we had such a great trip alone. I could agree with that. Do something extremely special after your wedding. My husband and I went back to our first home together. Neither of us had slept in the place before. It was the first time we both slept in the place. First time, our home became our home. And it was extremely special because it was ours. We didn't have to worry about parents or other people barging in. And we spent the whole weekend just getting to know each other. So do something special. Take all the pictures that you need, but make sure it's 100% of what you want. Otherwise, what's the point? How are you going to have fun? How is it going to be great? Two more and then we're going to be done. We got married in a park, $30 fee, I think, with about 15 of our friends and family, then had a reception at a local brewery with pizza and cake. Like others have said, zero regrets. It was fun and memorable event, but we didn't spend a fortune. Instead, we bought a house a few months later. See, there's good reasons behind it. You can do things like buy a house because you're not spending thousands of dollars. Most people who choose this don't regret it. I've always wanted a wedding ceremony with a reception. Nothing insane, but I've dreamt about it since I was little. When my ex-husband proposed, it was like, let's plan the wedding. I was so excited. Then he changed his mind. It's long and complicated, but I finally broke down and agreed to a courthouse wedding. I was always low-key disappointed. My advice would be, if you're both on the same page, then it's perfect. Weddings should be a reflection of both people. And if you're happy with whatever you choose, it's just that. Perfect for you guys. That's exactly the one I wanted to hear. A small wedding is great for people who want small wedding. A big wedding is great for people who want big wedding. A medium-sized wedding is people medium. And you can do a little bit of both. You can do some things that would be considered small weddings at a big one. You can do some things that would be considered big weddings at a small one. You could make the event your event, regardless how big or how small. If you have, the immediate ceremony in the courthouse, you can have a bigger reception. Or if you have a bigger ceremony, you can have a smaller reception. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, whatever makes you feel happy, whatever makes you feel excited and romanced and loved and adored. But make sure you're on the same page as your husband. So do what you want. Have fun while you do it. Make memories. Do it in the location, time, and place that you want. Take plenty of pictures. Have the people that are most important with you. And if you have to elope, you elope. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for having a wedding how you want to have your wedding. And if you have a small one now, when you renew your vows in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you can do a big thing. You'll have the time, the energy. You'll have the romance, the true feelings behind it. Because a lot of times, weddings can be stressful, the big ones. And on top of that, sometimes it's just a show for others. The day should be 100% about you and how you feel without regret. I 100% think that, at the end of the day, you are the best you that you're going to be. And you're 100% have to deal with everything that is left behind. Don't let anyone think that, your day isn't your day. You are the person who's going to be the one responsible for everything that you're going to be dealing with. So, have fun. Do you. Enjoy your day. To the young lady who's being stalked by the cop, please, 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 I hope you're safe. I hope you're being safe. I hope everything is working out for you. To the mom who's naming her baby after whoever she wants to name her baby. Name your baby whoever you want to name your baby after. Don't let anybody else tell you who to name your baby after. That's not okay. There's nothing in this world that makes that okay. Your baby is your baby. And if your mother violated the rules and regulations of making her baby the important part, then that's just how it is. And for the lady who thought she made a mistake getting married, you made a mistake. It's okay. You have time to fix that mistake. Get safe. Get out. Stack your bread. Not in that order. Stack your bread. Make sure you don't lose your job. Let your inner circle know what's going on. Do not let your husband or your mom know, because they too close. Get out safely. Let me know you got safe in the Caribbean, and holla at your girl because she need a vacation. But that's it for your girl Nisi. Thank you guys for sticking around for my 3 stories and 1 question. If you have any input, please leave it in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video. See you next time. Peace.